Winner. It's goal! Celtic has scored!
Hello and welcome to Voice of the Boys, episode 14. It currently is Wednesday the 4th of October at 11 p.m. We're just back from the Lazio game. We're back from the Lazio game at Celtic Park. The score ended in a 2-1 defeat, with the scorers being Kyogo, the goal for Celtic, with a very well taken goal. Brilliant play. I couldn't even tell you who scored for that.
Pedro scored the winner.
Pedro. Who scored the first?
I can't believe again.
Pedro? Like Spanish Pedro?
Aye, Pedro, about 37.
Oh my god, Pedro 37 still hanging about. Couldn't even have told you he was still there, honestly. Last time we were in was at
Viceno, the centre mid, which was a goal line technology goal.
Goal line technology goal.
You go.
Well, we'll touch on this first, and then we'll touch at the end. We'll touch on the Motherwell game from the weekend, and then we'll go on to Kilmarnock. I thought Celtic played really well. Honestly, I don't think Celtic played bad at all. I think that the play was fluid at a lot of the time. We played really nice football. The ball was getting moved about quite freely. Daizeme did a really good game, cutting in from the inside and the right. He was playing brilliant. Rio Hatati's a wee bit off the pace. He gave the ball a wee bit too much for me, I must admit. He was a wee bit lack with passing. Some people saying he was fine. I don't think he had a good game.
I've defended Hatati a long time on here.
Nah, he was poor. As was Greg Taylor. I've seen people saying Greg Taylor's poor as well. He's turned into trouble quite a lot, and he looks like
he won the ball when he didn't realise he'd won the ball and kind of turned away from it.
I know. That for me were the poorest players. Positives. I will go with the positives. I do think when Luis Palma came on, Luis Palma looked okay. He tried to win the ball back. He was dead energetic. Out of the starting 11, I think the two centre backs had a particularly decent game, apart from the two goals we gave away. Now I know that the full point of centre back is to stop goals going in, but I thought Nat Phillips looked really assured, and I think he played okay. Everything ball that came to me dealt with. And I think that Liam Scales looked outstanding again, I must admit. I think Liam Scales was the best defender we had on the night. He cleared everything he had to clear. He made a brilliant challenge with the boys coming through. I think Liam Scales looked okay. And honestly, I know that a lot of Celtic fans are going to be really angry right now, and me being upbeat probably isn't what you want to hear, but at the end of the day, look, it's happened, and there's nothing we can do about it. Other negatives, Yang, how would you say it? I know we've been told that we need to give Yang time. He had no end product, and he had no end product.
Do you want me to run with it, or should I rant and do what I usually do?
Well, don't rant for too long, but just go.
We're keeping it short and sweet tonight, guys, because it is 11 o'clock and obviously we have lives outside of here.
20% battery.
20% battery. If we're giving guys time, why are we going into the Champions League straight away? That's my question, right? We've had a couple of discussions with friends and family and things like that, and the money's been invested in the right areas. Apparently we have went into the Champions League and we've signed 4 centre mids. We already had 3 quality good ones and David Turnbull, which we've had our discussions about. So you now have 8 centre mids. You don't need 8 centre mids. No. Yang, which we've touched on as well, was poor tonight again. I feel as if he's good with the ball at his feet, but doesn't know when to release it. He doesn't know have that final product, doesn't know when to cross the ball.
No.
I think Louis Palma's definitely the one that I would be playing over the two of them.
I'm
very surprised Palma didn't start
I
tonight.
think, but when you're making the statement of intent that you're starting Yang on the left over Palma, he has to come out with the goods.
Kyogo's goal, me and Jack said it's probably the best Champions League goal.
I think up there with the overhead kick with Moussa Dembele against City, I think it's the best goal I've seen. It was brilliant, I think.
I think that Kyogo goal's well done, and I'm not going to sit there and say there's many positives tonight. There is positives always, because we did play very, very well. But Kyogo's finally broke his Champions League deadlock, and I think it was something that was something he had to get off his back. It was a weight hit to get off his back.
He had a weight to get off his back. Look, at the end of the day, now I've said this before, and I've said it tonight, and I'll say it again. Celtic rarely ever concede a goal that's a world class outstanding goal. We rarely concede a goal and you go, you know what? See, like when we scored against Lazio, the Lazio fans would probably have went, You know what?
That was a good
That was
goal.
actually a pretty good goal.
Their goal was a goal line technology for the first one for the boy who plays in centre mid, Varino, I think it is,
Yeah.
and then
We've not had the chance to look at. I've not seen the clips. Or
That's
the
goal line
videos.
technology.
It was goal line technology. though,
the
and
Pedro ones.
the problem is
Scrappy.
the problem is with goal line technology is it's probably out right, so it must have been over the line. But before that, the defending leading up to that, given away a poor corner, you know they knew that they had to target the back two because they'd played a couple of balls over from the start. And you know we said this, you highlighted this last week, was that we are kind of poor when the ball comes over the top. But I think when Nat Phillips in, it was a wee bit more assured. You know, he dealt with a wee bit more. Whereas if we had Lagerbielke and Scales, I think those balls over the top to Chiro and Mobley would probably have scared us a wee bit more.
Louis Palmer's goal, I think we've celebrated as if he's told me I'm a dad for the first time, but obviously for it to be chopped off is a very, it's up there, isn't it?
So the talk is Dyson Maeda interferes with play. I don't know whether he touches. Somebody told me he touched the ball. Somebody said he didn't touch the ball, but he interferes with the play apparently. And then Louis Palmer takes a very composed touch to the back post and scores a very good goal in the 86th minute or 84th minute, whatever it is. But we then think we've went on and we're ahead in the game. And you know what I knew? See, honestly, can I be honest? See, that time I was celebrating, but I thought in the back of my head, I went, you know what? Something's going to happen here.
It's one of these ones, and as I said, we the notes are there from the last time and things like that. The last episode we were like, is there a better time to play Lazio? I don't think there was. I think right, this is it now.
That was a chance.
And it's something I personally feel that's you know, you've got your Champions League. We do this every single season. We go into the Champions
And people
League.
kill us for saying now the campaign's over, but
It's done.
You're playing Atletico
Madrid in a double
twice.
header.
Atletico Madrid, who tonight were down the dumps apparently, and have come back and pulled out a 3-2 win. And you need to go to Madrid, and you need to have Madrid at home. Look,
you can't, no matter where you're playing it, you could be away in Madrid and Rotterdam straight away. Mm-hmm. You can't go out after 2 games and mean 0 points. I'm sorry, that's not how it goes. Mm-hmm. And if you're going into the next stage of Europe, even Europa League, you need to have 1 from 6.
I just want to highlight this point, and this is the point where people we've talked to tonight have said, look, it's not as bad as it may appear. Celtic have not won a home game in the Champions League in 10 years.
22nd of October 2013 against Ajax, as we touched on, against
10 years.
Feyenoord.
And Celtic have won 2 away games in the Champions League since the turn of the century, or whenever it was. Does that mean that means we've won no so many games? And I was talking to someone recently who highlighted the point. If you look at Celtic, have got the worst record at home, or worst record away, in Champions League history. And no, this doesn't include the European Cup being the Champions League. Celtic have got a 56% loss rate.
Aye, because we don't win.
And now I'm having to highlight this, and this is where people are going to go off and go, you're terrible, what are you saying this with Celtic? Is it a problem with the club?
No, I think, can I be
because you can't
honest?
even numerous teams, you can't go, it was this one team.
Can I be brutally honest?
20 years.
I think we're a Europa League team, and I think you could get a manager I think Brendan Rodgers of a high calibre. I don't like Brendan Rodgers, as I've painted out, and I've said my opinion on him. And you had Ange in, who's doing his bit down at Tottenham. I think you could have any manager in, I think you could have any player in. We've had Kieran Tierney, Virgil van Dijk, Moussa Dembele. We've had some top players. You're a Europa League team now. That's it, and that's how we leave it, and that's how when we go next year, right, and you go next year and you go into the league format, if Celtic win the league, hopefully the coefficient still as high as it is, because not just for us but for everyone in Scotland, it ups the level of the game. Celtic go into the Champions League, and if they don't finish,
Aberdeen doing bits for the coefficient.
if they don't finish in the top 8, they then go from like 9th to, I think it's 27th, I want to say, in those 18 places or something. You've got a playoff round, so you've got an extra tie, so you've got 10 Champions League games that goes into a playoff round, and you need to see what you can do in the playoff round. 27th to 36th, so the bottom 9 teams, they go out of Europe no matter what. They're going to Europa League. I can guarantee Celtic will be in the bottom 9.
I can guarantee you that if we can't win a Champions League game when there's
we're playing Lazio, who are 16th.
16th
and I'm not. And the two guys that even Celtic covered, Celtic, which we have no affiliation with and no record towards. So we obviously do our own research, we do our own bit in our spare time to talk about. They're talking about Luis Alberto and Chiro Mobley as a danger man. I didn't think they had a brilliant game at all.
No,
they were very, very
they were
quiet.
very poor players. Chiro Mobley, I think Chiro Mobley can't even. Somebody actually said next to me at half time, is Chiro Mobley on the pitch?
He was our captain. So it's
he's our captain. Come on.
But
honestly, the danger man, and I think I didn't think he was going to have as good a game as he actually had. He was superb with Kamada.
That's something we need to touch on. Celtic
was stunning.
Played their part in making history. The most ever Japanese players to be on the park in the one game with Hatate, Maeda, Kyogo and Kamada. Can we just say, by the way, Kamada's a talent.
Kamada's a talent, the boy is.
And if
they've went, you've got Japanese boys, we will raise you one, and he was superb.
I think honestly I'll have my undying love for Kyogo and Hatate and things like that. But and
that just shows you what the point we made though a couple of weeks ago is like Kyogo took his chance very well, but you create a list of, there you go, put it this way, midfielders in the Champions League. Kamada's probably, in the middle of the pack somewhere,
Where's Hatate?
And Hatate's at the bottom. And if anyone disagrees there,
give us a shout.
Hatate's not as good as Kamada. He's usually not as good as Luis Alberto, who's a very top quality player. He's been around for years. He's won loads.
Was it Liverpool and things like that?
There's at the end of the day, and it's true what people are saying, look, we're a Europa League team at the end of the day. But the problem is that we face is that we don't have the opportunity to go at the start of the season. Sorry mate, we don't want to go into the Champions League, we'll just go into the Europa League. We need to be in the Champions League, and if we are in the Champions League and we cannot pull off, right now, we cannot pull off the opportunity to get third in a group, we're not going to get a run anywhere because we're pumped straight out of Europe.
And then this is the thing as well though, they're looking at it going, what do you now take from it, what do you move on, what do you do? But it's like, you're doing this every single year.
What do you take? What do we move on? It's the same rigmarole every year for the last how long?
It's you know what it's like reading from a script.
Yeah, I know.
What do we take? What do we move?
Next year will be the year, and then you go next year, and it never seems to be the year.
We take from this a brilliantly worked goal. I think that shows Rodgers' system's coming into play. Brendan Rodgers wants to be here 3 years. He's going to have the hopefully some sort of run in Europe, because if Brendan Rodgers tells me he wants to be here for 3 years and I'm 2 games into Europe, right, and it is a kick in the teeth because we have played so well and we've conceded sloppy goals. That's 2 games we've played really, really well and we've scored a really worked goal. I'm hoping at the start of next season Brendan Rodgers has got some sort of team he can take into Europe.
No, 100%.
Because he's now, obviously we've not touched these since the Motherwell win. O'Reilly and Hatate have contract extensions and things like that, so he's now got guys that who have extended contracts. Obviously they're not going to stay for the duration of their contract, but you're going to get more money put into the team. Like I've said my bit the night about 4 centre mids that you don't need to sign. You don't need 8 centre mids for a Champions League. You don't need 8 centre mids for a squad. You've still got guys I'm not even counting in that, like the youth players, Summers and McCarthy. McCarthy is now in the squad photo that we're paying a wage for a laugh. Like there's things to be taken from it. We move on. We always move on. We move forward. Let's look back.
I think at the end of the day, 2 seconds. I think at the end of the day now it has to come down to what's going wrong in the background. Correct. Because if you look at it every year and we're coming up with these same questions, where did it go wrong? Why has it went wrong? Next year will be our year.
It's not going to be our year though.
And next year will be our year. Next year, we're not even looking. Look, next year will be our year. Like talking as if we're going to win the Champions League. All we want is a win. 1-1. That was all that. Look, honestly, see if we'd have won tonight and we'd have 3 points, I'd have counted this as successful. I'd have been like, you know what?
I'd have counted it as a success if we'd won a game. Good. But I still look at positives. I know I'm saying it. We do it every year, but it's a brilliantly worked goal, and I think there's positives to take away from it. And
you just can't then be giving away goals as cheaply as you
what you're saying though is, you said to me, Rodgers' football's coming into play and it's worked well.
It has, but look, we do this in the league as well, and it's not as apparent in the league, but we do it. We give chances to look at the 2 goals Curtis Mean scored against us.
Look,
we give these chances to these teams, and see, because we're playing Scotland and these teams don't take the opportunities. Honestly, they don't, because at the end of the day they don't have the quality enough opposite players to do it. But then see, when we get into the Champions League, these teams are going to take the opportunities, and they're going to punish you, right? And then we go, as if before the game we never knew that was going to happen. As if before the game we never knew, it turns out Lazio actually know how to play football. We're not playing St Mirren. You're playing a team that play in the Italian league week in and week out. They go up against teams like Napoli, Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan. I've just named 4 teams there that we could play them 100 times and we'd be lucky to get 5 wins. And honestly, they're playing teams like this week in, week out, and that just shows when we are playing teams in Scotland, and it doesn't just go for us. If MD's laughing down the camera who supports anybody else in Scotland in the other side of Glasgow, you do it as well. Going from playing teams like St Mirren and Ross County to stepping up to quality opposition like Liverpool or Barcelona or even Lazio, it doesn't happen. It does not happen. And I must admit, teams on the other side of Glasgow have actually managed it better in Europe than us in the last couple of years, and they've actually beat teams like Borussia Dortmund. Fair enough to Rangers, you know what? Fair enough, they can actually do it. They beat Real Betis last week. I don't know if we would beat. 2 weeks ago. I don't know if we would beat Real Betis at this point.
I don't know. But I think Europa League's your level, and I think, like, obviously, let's not talk about Rangers too long. Because
I don't. I honestly want to give it. I'd want to sound like
they're in the Europa League, and no matter what, they can't finish bottom of the group. Realistically, they've got Rama in the castle from Cyprus, I think it is. Realistically, if they finish third of European football after Christmas, they're in that sort of. I know Beale's no longer there. If Beale had stayed, they're in a semi-final, and they would have European football after Christmas, no matter what.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, let's
just talk to ourselves and let's just go. Look, see, at the end of the day, what kind of Celtic fan are you? Are you a Celtic fan that's content with beating Motherwell week in, week out, teams like Motherwell, and never doing anything in Europe? Or are you a team that wants to push the board and you want the board to invest players like we said at the start of the season? Dominik Livakovic, Croatian goalkeeper, World Cup guy, went for £6 million. Celtic never made a bid. And if we're saying, look, we're not even at the level to be buying guys at £6 million who are in maybe 25 grand a week, 30 grand a week, then you may as well just give up in the Champions League, because you're not going to come up against a team like, how much do you think Luis Alberto's getting paid? Easily 100 grand a week. How much do you think that Kamada's getting paid? So see, if we're not even signing guys at 30 grand a week and we're talking about guys at 10 grand a week and £1 million, then look, don't even talk about it, because we're just embarrassing ourselves and you're having a joke.
Right, well,
I know that sounds like criticising it crazy a bit.
Well, moving on, because we're now playing with time before the battery goes. And
do we really need to go over Motherwell very much? We beat Motherwell 2-1.
We beat Motherwell 2-1, left it late. I think that it shows. I'm going to quickly run over everything because I like to that. Yang, once again, poor. I think Yang shouldn't have started today, as we've said. Luis Palma with a brilliant taking goal. I think people are saying it's a cross, but if you watch his highlight reel on YouTube, it looks like a good goal.
And Motherwell played really well, actually. I think
Blair Spittle with a brilliant equaliser, and then Matt O'Reilly finding the ball falling to him in the box in the 97th minute for a brilliant cross in.
You know, it shades to tonight, because at the same time we worked the ball really well into the final third, and then see when we got to the final third and it was with Yang or it was with Maid out wide, the final ball just wasn't there, and we were failing, and it's just the exact same thing that's happened tonight. It just turns out tonight we've had the one brilliant bit of play, whereas Motherwell we kind of didn't, we lacked that wee bit. The 2 goals didn't really come from a brilliant bit of play, it came from a bit of a shocker out wide, and then the second one's good play. I must admit the second one's good play, but for the most of the game there we kind of struggled to create anything substantial. 7
points clear, we move on to the weekend.
I'd like to have a go at filler things, but I'd like it anyway. There's no point now.
Move on. There's 7 points clear. We've got Kilmarnock the weekend, who have played 7 games and have 7 points, or sitting 8 in the league. We're not going to run over Kilmarnock.
7 games, 7 points. Is it 7 draws, or is it?
I've not done that much research.
No, I'm guessing
we'll not run too much into it, because the last time we played Kilmarnock, obviously we gave a good report about them then. The boys like Stuart Finlay and Mally Watkins,
they're going to come out and they're going to do exactly the same as they done in the quarter final of the cup. They're going to sit behind the ball and they're going to frustrate us, and if we can't find that final ball like we struggled against Motherwell and we struggled tonight, it's going to be a tough game to watch.
Last 16 of the cup.
Last 6. Yeah, it's a quarter.
No, last 16. Rangers played Livy and knocked them out, because they played Morton.
No, because it's the semis now. There you go. We're going to struggle though. Honestly, we're going to struggle if we can't break them down.
No, Kilmarnock, I think, is a big time for the Celtic team to team to repay the fans a wee bit. I think not everyone's disappointed. Not everyone's had a honker tonight. I think once again Alistair Johnson had a good night. Liam Scales.
It was maybe a wee bit. Alistair Johnson's maybe not as fit as we'd like, and he came off to look as near some. He's maybe not exactly where we'd like him to be, and when you're up against better players,
but you can see the quality difference from him and Taylor.
Oh, I definitely 100%. He's up and down. He's winning the ball. Yeah, Taylor was looked.
Dyson ran constant.
Dyson's touches. The amount of touches Dyson had. There's one where the ball comes across and he traps it, and then the one where he touches it in the shape. I thought he played really well.
Kyogo brilliant for the goal, constant running again.
Then Kyogo brilliant for the goal, and then Brendan's asked him to drop really far back, and he wasn't really in the game for the rest of the game. He kind of struggled.
Liam Scales is undroppable at this point.
Liam Scales is your best player at this point. Apart from Matt Riley, Liam Scales never done anything where you went, oh my god. The only bad passes he made was because he was being forced by Greg Taylor, because he was passing the ball when there's about 3 players next to him, and he kind of messed up a wee bit then. But apart from that, like, I think Liam Scales is actually brilliant, and at the end of the day, I think Nat Phillips might have been a wee bit harsh to be taking off. I don't know if he was maybe slightly injured or slightly still feeling that injury. I mean, but if you keep Nat Phillips on, there's a chance you'll get a point tonight because of Carter Vickers losing the ball. And we love Carter Vickers and we're not criticising. It's his first game back, but he does give the ball away, and that is what loses you the second goal. The ball's out to Guendouzi. Guendouzi plays it in, and it's ahead of the back post for Pedro, who's still banging about apparently. It's hard being a Celtic fan, and it's hard watching the Champions League. It always is. And for people like us who are ambitious Celtic fans, we've grew up ambitious. We watched the Brendan Rodgers first time, and although we never won many games, you know, we put in performances there where Man City at home, Man City away. There's performances in there where, you know, you were kind of inspired, and we were looking for one of those tonight. Although the performance wasn't there, the performance was there tonight, the result isn't. And at the end of the day, in 100 years, but in 10 years, you're not going to look back and you're going to go, aye, but we played well. You're not going to look back at these games because it was a loss. But you'll look back and it was a loss. Whereas we'll look back on that Man City result 3-3, and we'll look back in the one in Etihad for years, and we'll go, you know what, we got something from the game, and yet again we failed to get something from the game. That's what I'm leaving at. But at the end of the day, some Celtic fans, from what we've heard, are happy with it. They're happy with no achieving anything in the Champions League. But I'll always hope that we can get something, and I'll always hope that at the end of the day, the Celtic board either invests properly or Celtic is sold to someone in the future, because Dermot Desmond isn't going to be here forever. The Celtic board Celtic is sold to someone who has an ambition to go further in Europe. That's all I've got to say.
That is.
I think that's us.
Come on, look at the weekend. I think it'll be 3-1. You're obviously down in London.
I'm doing London. I'm not going to be at the game, but hopefully we win. A good game,
and we'll see you after that national break as always.
We shall have that. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Hail, hail. I'm on the Celtic.